Knowledge is power, but you'll have to learn how to decipher the information in order to use it effectively. Knowledge well. Informed conclusions are drawn here. And now, your host, Courtney Scott.
All right, so I wanted to follow up with the start of the report from my source, Ken, or the source I will name as Ken. Follow up with another article here, Understanding the New World Order Strategy. And if you haven't caught the beginning or the post I've done previous to this one, you may want to check that out. Give a little bit of why I decided to go with this source here, and his credibility level and what it's proven to me, at least. And I guess we'll see just how trustworthy a source he is in the future. So this is module 1.5, December 9th, 2015. The two NWOs. The key to understanding the globalist strategy, is implementing the New World Order. In implementing the New World Order is to understand that they are actually two New World Orders. A Western-fronted decoy New World Order and a BRICS-fronted real New World Order. And if you paid attention or watched the first installment, if you will, I broke down what the BRICS is. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. It says, once you understand how and why the globalists created them and played them against each other, all of the confusing information floating about the mainstream and alternative media will start making sense. So, first of all, the Western-fronted decoy in New World Order. This evil, menacing New World Order is supposedly being constructed by the US and the EU, but it has never really existed as anything but a media construct. It is much like the fake army of inflatable tanks that Patton commanded prior to the Normandy invasion. There is no real substance to it. It was created as a propaganda prop to serve as the dark side in the play the globalists are putting on for the public. They even gave it a dark-skinned figurehead for dramatic flair. Guess who he's talking about? Yeah, Obama. When you listen to the many faux truthers in the alternative press, it is this decoy New World Order to which they point as they make their fearful predictions in order to create an emotional reaction within their viewers, readers, and listeners. They portray it as an evil Zionist, Nazi, neocon monster that is destroying the world and bringing humanity to the brink of World War III. This is being done so the public will welcome the real New World Order when it makes its move, defeats the decoy, and snatches peace from the jaws of war. Another function of the Western decoy is to serve as the scapegoat for all the damage that was done while the globalists were erecting the real New World Order. By blaming the Western New World Order for all the evils we've seen for the past 100 plus years and then getting rid of it, they are hoping the real New World Order will start with a clean slate in the public eye. You will know you're listening to a controlled opposition, faux truther figure talk about the decoy New World Order when he or she uses words with the prefix uni, as in unilateral. Here's an article here. It says, Putin to Western elites, playtime is over. A unilateral dictate and imposing one's own models produces the opposite result. So there's an example of the use of the in unilateral. Also, Putin says Russia will never succumb to unipolar world order. the West is impotent to prevent Armageddon. It is up to Russia and China, and as Washington has framed the dilemma, Armageddon can only be prevented by Russia and China accepting vassal status. This is not going to happen. Why would any self-respecting people submit to the corrupt West? The hope is that Washington will cause its European vassals to rebel by pushing them too hard into conflict with Russia. If European politicians were to break from Washington's hegemony and instead represent European interest, Washington would be deprived of cover for its war crimes. The breakdown of the neoconservative unipower model would then be apparent even to Washington, and the world would become a safer and better place. That was an article, I think a Zero Hedge article, which Ken is embedding into his article just to give us examples of the usages of that wording. So moving on. Of course, you'll know they're talking about the decoy also when they use the term Western elite, Nazis, Zionists, and neocons when identifying its builders. Okay, so the BRICS fronted real New World Order now. So we just detailed the Western fronted decoy New World Order. Now we're going to go to the BRICS. Remember the nations that I told you that form the BRICS nations. So the BRICS fronted real New World Order. So it goes on to say the emerging United Nations based BRICS fronted New World Order is the real New World Order the globalists have been working towards since the last vestiges of the old world order fell after World War II. The BRICS fronted New World Order is nothing more than the old United Nations complex with a phony under new management sign hanging in front. You will know that a commentator is talking about this real New World Order when he or she uses words with the prefix multi, such as multilateral. And here's an example, again, another article embedded from The Atlantic, the title being The Coming Multilateral World Order. This being said, you don't have to take my word for all of this. Look for yourself. Just visit the websites of the IMF and the BIS and enter the following words, one at a time, into the search box. Multilateral, multipolar, unilateral, and unipolar. If you do this and scan through the results you'll see scores of internal speeches and papers talking about moving towards a multilateral, multipolar world and away from a unilateral, unipolar world. You'll find virtually nothing on their sites that talks about moving towards a global order ruled by a hegemonic U.S. That was never the globalists' real plan. Lurking behind the democratic facade, the so-called democratic governments that the public sees as the guiding hands in our world are the occulted powers, or the OPs. The OPs are a criminal conglomerate of the local royal families throughout the world who are intermarried and or interoperating with the global network of Jewish bankster families. Under this worldwide royal/Jew elite, there are a variety of secret societies such as the Freemasons and the criminal gangs such as the Triads, who recruit useful commoners into their conspiracy and run societies at the street level. As with any large gang of criminals, there is some degree of competition amongst the families as they compete for power, position, and wealth within the syndicate. But they are all united in furthering their collective control and exploitation of the human race. They are the ones who have been pushing for ever more centralized control of humanity. They are the globalists. An interesting thing about these OPs, or occult powers, is that they have their own system of spirituality, which can most accurately be called the mystery school. Whether the gang leaders at the very top actually believe in the spiritual mumbo-jumbo of the mystery school, though, is unclear. There may be some sort of spiritual force feeding them their religion. They may have simply made it up as a control mechanism for their underlings. Whether it's real or made up, though, it plays a central role in everything they do. With this in mind, have a look at the Masonic art outside of the new Carrollton Federal Building in Lanham, Maryland. Sculpture depicts the left-hand path and right-hand path of the OP's occultic spirituality. As you can see, the left hand, which sits on the black base, is pointing over to the open right hand, which sits upon the white base. This reflects the OP's practice of using the left hand, the dark side, which brings about destruction and chaos, to scare people into the open, welcoming right hand, the light side, which brings about construction and order. If you look upon the world situation right now, you can see that the Anglo-American branch of the OP's occult powers are acting as the left hand, bringing terror, war, and theft that is destroying the existing world order and scaring humanity towards something new. And the BRICS branch of the OPs are acting as the right hand, opposing the actions of the Anglo-American axis and welcoming humanity into a peaceful, fair, new world order that they are constructing. Once you understand this basic idea of how the two hands work together to control the world, everything you see around you starts to make sense. I'm sure that most of you share in the viewpoint that there's more than meets the eye going on here, and it's often said that it seems like the Democratic and the Republican parties are coming from the same vein, and like, what's the difference between the two? And well, here he's kind of going into the history of the agendas of the New World Order, the elitist and the globalist, and he's making the hidden things known as far as how they play together and how they agitate to the point of conflict and kind of force you into, as it says here, from the left to the right, in order to come to some type of consensus to get their third option passed. And so I know a lot of us have speculations on this, and it's kind of sobering to realize that, in fact, that there is a method here, and that method's being used on the United States and its people. So we're going to keep a close eye on that, and we're going to keep researching and bringing information to you, so hopefully you can come to an informed conclusion on your belief system. So we're just here to present you with data so that you can disseminate that data and put the pieces together. So I want to thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and give comments in the section below. And I'll try and put some links to these articles and things to help you be able to research better. But thank you for tuning in to Knowledge Well Media. This is Courtney Scott signing off.